Adastra is a sci-fi political adventure with cosmic horror elements and gay romance intended for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Previously on Adastra.
Good spar, Amicus. I hope you learned something from it. I announced to the public that the trials will begin at the end of this month. Remember that your pet will be involved, so be sure that he's prepared.
Sometimes I hang out with Alex, which I enjoy, but lately I wonder if the idea that we're technically going to be competing against each other is causing a bit of a rift between us. Where are we going?
The throne room should be empty right now. It's where we'll be performing.
Wow.
You like it?
Yeah. So, did you want to show me the dance?
Oh, right.
Amicus walks toward me until he's standing just a few feet away. He sighs, then frowns, his ears down. What? What?
Well,
seriously, you're stressing me out.
All right, listen. The role you'll be playing might seem a bit strange to you.
Role? What do you mean by that? Amicus takes a deep breath, as if only now realizing what our practice session is going to involve.
The dance we'll be doing is titled Mira, and it will involve things that you might find objectionable.
Objectionable?
Alright, let me try to explain this correctly. Basically, we will be playing the roles of Drusus and Mira, an emperor and his lover.
Wait, so this is like a play or a musical? I'm playing a character?
Well, of course, it's a dance.
Well, I guess, but you never told me that I'd also be acting.
Isn't acting part of dancing? What's the point of dance if you're not telling a story?
Listen, quit saying these things to me like I should just know it. We're from different worlds. Of course things aren't the same on Earth.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm just... You're so much like a wolf that I forget.
It's fine, but what is it that I'd find objectionable? I remember his description of the dance included the word lover. Wait, what sort of things am I gonna have to do with you?
Nothing too explicit, but there's caressing and a kiss at the end.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I don't make up the dances or the rules, it's simply tradition.
I let the silence drag out, letting Amicus squirm. But weirdly enough, I'm not as angry as I thought I'd be. Is that it? You caress me a little and kiss me at the end?
For the most part, yes. And you're playing the role of a female, so you must dress a certain way.
Are you kidding me?
Listen, I will not force you to do anything you don't want to. That I promise.
But
doing this dance convincingly is needed for us to win.
I sigh loudly. Who's even judging this?
Cato and triumvirates from the 5 other major cities.
Triumvirates?
Groups of 3 that govern the cities.
Alright, fine, just show me the dance. I look around. So, do we have music or something?
No, we don't need music, do we?
I mean, I guess not. On Earth, we usually dance to music, without having to tell a story.
Oh, really? So you just dance for no reason?
Kind of. We usually dance to have fun.
So why do you need music?
Well, we need a beat or a rhythm to dance to. I mean, not always, but usually we move to an even space beat. What?
It's such a primate thing to do, to bang sticks and rocks together. You love your rhythms. It just sounds so, interesting.
You mean primitive?
No, just different.
I sigh, letting it go for now.
Anyway, we're going to have an orator narrate the story for us. It's a combination of speaking and singing. I'll do that for now, though. Well, not the singing. I'll just speak.
The story goes on for a while, Amicus teaching me the steps and hand movements as it does. The process is slow and tedious, but Amicus is patient with me and tells me that it's not the choreography that's necessarily important, but rather the feeling and passion we put into the movements. The story describes Mira and Drusus' relationship, evolving from one of official diplomatic business to true love. But it doesn't last long because Mira becomes sick from an unspecified illness and is about to die. The parents offer Drusus two options: save Mira, or save his empire, and promise his people prosperity for the next 10,000 years. Drusus wants to choose Mira, even if it means damning his empire for millennia. Then the story takes a sudden turn. Mira denies Drusus his own decision, instead taking her own life so that his empire might survive. Here I'm supposed to put the back of my hand to my head, like I'm an old-timey woman in a corset passing out. Amicus carefully lowers me to the ground, laying me flat on my back.
And so it was that another sibling saved our empire. Drusus was forced into his one remaining choice, which was no longer a choice.
Amicus stands slowly, raising a paw to the sky, pointing.
To the stars, he said. We are now Adastra.
For the next few hours, we go through the steps over and over. By the end, we're both kind of sweaty, being so close to each other while Vita shines in on us.
All right. Why don't we take a break?
Yeah, sure.
Would you like to go to the communal bath?
Where everyone takes a bath together?
Well, more to have a hot soak to ease the tension in the muscles. Don't worry, you can keep your underwear on if you'd prefer.
Oh, okay.
Great! Doesn't this feel good?
Yeah. My head slips off the ledge a few times as I doze off a bit, each time waking up before my head can go into the water. Amicus notices the third time this happens.
Sleepy?
A little.
Lean against me so that you don't make the bottom of the pool your new bed.
I hesitate.
Don't worry, we already share the same bed.
Amicus stretches an arm out over the ledge behind my head, not even looking at me as he does. I get the weird feeling that I'm in a movie theater and my date just tried to casually rest his arm on the back of my chair. But my head feels even heavier than the rest of my body, so I give in, letting it rest against Amicus's massive bicep and shoulder. I'm not sure how long I'm asleep, seconds or minutes, but that's when I hear the door open. It's not a loud sound, but Amicus jumps, which makes me jump. We both look toward the door. Neferu stands there, his eyes on us, that same smile on his face. Oh, imagine running into you again today. I'm sorry. I've come to the baths every day for the past week, but I've never encountered anyone.
I see. I also enjoy the baths. It's just that we tend to be so busy these days.
Oh, I imagine. So, how long have you been here, Marco? I give a start, then look up at Amicus. One of his eyes twitch, but he gives me a short nod. 2 week. So you need permission to speak to me. I did not know that you were so strict with your slaves, Amicus.
He's my pet, not a slave.
Oh, maybe it's a lingua issue, but from what I've seen, there's very little difference. You do enslave your children, after all, no?
Excuse me, but I'm finding your questions a bit pointed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been told our way of speaking can be a bit blunt, by your standards. But consider the topic of slavery as simply always pointed.
Well, why don't we move to a less pointed topic then?
Of course. So, Marco, what is your species? I must say that I've never seen your kind before. Simian. You know, you don't have to speak in such a simple way to me. I already know that you can converse well enough.
What are you talking about, Jackal?
Oh, are we already jumping to informal language? Well, I'm simply referring to his intelligence, Wolf. I'm confused as to why he's downplaying it for me.
Well, I don't know how you know anything about him. Come, Marco, let's head back to my room.
Alex told me. The Jackal grins, and I note that he's using Alex's shortened name. Amicus stares in surprise. So don't worry, Marco. You can speak without worrying about what I might learn. Neferu sets a paw on my shoulder, and Amicus's hackles raise.
Please do not touch my pet.
Oh, so he needs permission to be touched as well?
What is your concern with him, Neferu?
I'm simply interested in intelligent species that I've never seen before, and, well... Neferu reaches out over Amicus's shoulder. touching my hair and rubbing it between two finger pads, similar to what Amicus sometimes does. He is fascinating looking. I start to move my head away, but before I know it, Amicus's Neferu shoved up against the wall, one paw on his chest glaring into his face.
I said not to touch him.
Oh, right. Sorry. I keep forgetting that he's not a slave with the way you treat him, needing your permission for everything.
He doesn't.
I step forward then. Well, you need my permission. Ah, so it is true. I knew I saw intelligence in those eyes.
You know nothing of the way I treat him, and please do not call him a slave again. It is an affront to his actual status. Now, kindly leave my pet alone in the future. He's very busy.
Again, this language that implies that you own him, it's confusing to me. I suppose it's only natural for a slave-driving race such as your own. You believe you own everything and everyone lower on the hierarchy.
What? I'll have you know that they are servants, and I do plan to change. Never mind. It is not your place to criticize my empire.
That's when I realized that Neferu isn't even looking at Amicus's face. He's looking at... And now that I'm looking at it, I realize that it's looking a bit bigger than usual. You know, I heard rumors that the Emperor's son was a tail raiser, but honestly, I wasn't expecting you to use this moment as an opportunity. Did you simply want to get your paws on me? In one smooth, fluid motion, Neferu spins into Amicus, thumping his back into the other canine's front, making the big wolf grunt and puff air into the top of Neferu's head with an oof sound. Neferu leans there against the wolf, holding onto his big paw while the other comes up to tease at Amicus's chin. Amicus looks surprised, but he doesn't do anything to push the jackal away. From what little I learned about Adastran slang on the TV, Neferu had just implied that Amicus is gay. If you were interested, you only had to ask. I know that wolven ways of flirting are rather aggressive, and even though we jackals do things differently, I can adjust. At that, Amicus glares and roughly pushes Neferu away, sending the jackal to stumble against the wall. He turns around, swiftly, his grin still in place. Oh, did I get the wrong idea? I just assumed after you groped my chest and became... excited.
I did not! And you were the one to touch my pet without his permission!
Again, I thought he was your slave. But you're right. I should have asked for his permission. His fur was simply mesmerizing, so I forgot myself for a moment. Neferu turns to me and bows. Good day, Marco. I wish you luck in relieving your master's carnal desires. Neferu gestures at the fumbling wolf as he tries to tie on his underwear correctly. And to you, Amicus, again, if you're interested, you only need to let me know.
Are you joking with me?
Neferu is already striding off, grabbing up his own underwear and loincloth as he does, not even finished tying it on by the time he's walking out the door. We both stand there in silence for a bit, staring as the door slides shut. Then Amicus grabs up the rest of his clothes with a growl, turning to me.
You alright?
Yeah, of course. What?
Come on.
Not to pry too much, but... Are you gay? Neferu seemed to imply that. Amicus freezes, staring at me. He doesn't seem to know what to tell me. Like, he's afraid of what my reaction might be. I quickly try to reassure him. You know, it's a fairly accepted thing on Earth these days, and I have no issue with it. If you are, you can tell me. Amicus goes on staring at me for a little while longer, then sighs.
I have a preference for males, yes.
He winces right after saying that. Hey, it's fine. Like I said, it's pretty well accepted in a lot of places on Earth. But it explains why you were getting hard in front of Neferu.
Listen, it wasn't what I was intending when I first grabbed him. I was trying to defend you.
Oh, I see.
Are you disgusted with me now?
Why would I be disgusted with you?
I don't know. You must see past incidences in a different light. Like the massages and wrestling. And the dance, I promise those are truly pet duties, and I was only having a bit of fun at the amphitheater, and I only did what the dance called for.
I shake my head. I think you've been really good about not taking advantage of me at all. It's fine.
And you never have to do those things again if you don't want. I'll understand.
I raise a hand up. Seriously, you're fine. Amicus looks away, looking relieved, but still ashamed.
I'm sorry. It's just something that's followed me most of my life. I had an incident happen several years back, and it's created a lot of rumors about me. The people aren't very interested in having a tail raiser as their emperor.
Amicus finally looks at me.
So I try to keep it quiet so that it might be forgotten. Thought it mostly was until that Camillean mentioned it.
Amicus growls.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I suppose it was something I should have told you, considering how close quarters we've been living.
The wolf looks so dejected. So sad. I decide that I should tell him. You know, I'm gay too. Amicus snaps his gaze back to me, eyes wide.
What?
I feel my face turning red. I'm the same. I like guys. Amicus squints at me, like he can't quite believe what I just said.
Are you making fun of me?
What? No, I'm telling you so you don't feel so bad about it. It's fine.
Oh. That's, quite the coincidence.
Yeah, it is.
Well, thank you for telling me. That isn't easy to do. At least it isn't for me.
I'm the same. So, since we're talking about all of this, what was Neferu saying about me? Helping you out with your dick. Is that a pet duty too?
Well, yes it is, but again, I would never ask that of you.
Does Alex do that? Amicus pulls a face.
Well, while I'd rather not think of my brother in such a situation, yes, he does.
But does that mean your brother's gay too?
No, well, not as far as I know. He doesn't have a preference for males. Isn't that what makes you a homosexual?
I shrug. So I just give you a handjob or something? I can tell that the lingua had no trouble translating that to Amicus, because he immediately blushes again. I squirm, wondering why I'm asking so much about this topic. I'm curious, and I already know that I'm attracted to this wolf. I'd given up on denying it a while ago.
It can involve a lot of things. I mean, if you want to do it, I have no objections, but it's your choice.
Amicus sounds tentatively hopeful, and I realize that he actually wants it. It seems that every day I go further and further with his wolf. I laugh, partly at Amicus's expression, and partly because of the absurdity of this entire situation. How about if we win the dance trial? I'll think about it. I'm speaking without thinking. Amicus is quiet, then nods.
Sounds fair. Anyway, I'm off to my shower.
The wolf stands up, and I do the same. Do you need help?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I want to show him that things haven't changed. That I'm not scared of him now that I know his secret. He looked so devastated when he told me. And even if Amicus was the one to get me into this mess, I know now that he's a good person and doesn't deserve to feel like that. I mean, I've seen your junk already, so no surprise there, right?
I suppose not. If you're sure.
I'm sure. To decide things for the wolf, I walk into the shower. Amicus isn't far behind. Chapter 8. The First Trial. I dream a lot the night before the first trial. I can't remember most of it, but in the last bit I'm in the throne room, surrounded by dozens of wolves who I assume are the triumvirates. Cato sits on the throne, watching over all of us, his chin on a fist. Meanwhile, Amicus is in the center, doing some type of breakdance. He's athletic and light on his feet before throwing off his cape and doing a handstand. Then he spins on his head for a while as the wolves around him cheer. Even Cato claps reluctantly. Meanwhile, Cassius has his paw to his mouth, realizing that he's been beaten, his paper bones incapable of withstanding such incredible moves. Then I wake up. I open my eyes and see the dark outline of the ceiling above me, the lights automatically coming on to a dim yellow glow. I hear Amicus's soft snoring next to me and look over, seeing that he's flat on his back, mouth open and hugging one of his many pillows to his chest. I roll onto my back, feeling the anxiety of the upcoming trial return. After a while, I whisper up at the ceiling. "Com, what time is it?" Com whispers back.
1/2 the first hour.
So I have at least 3 hours left before I can get up and get ready. I close my eyes to try and get more sleep. It's hard, though, mainly because my future could be determined today. Amicus told me that we really only need to win this trial to win the whole thing. Because if we win tomorrow, that means that Cassius will at least have to partake in the combat trial, if not outright lose if we win the second trial. And according to Amicus, Cassius has absolutely no chance in Pugnu combat, and he knows that. While he might still participate in the second trial to save some face, he'd have to withdraw for the third, otherwise face outright humiliation. So if we win tomorrow, I'm almost guaranteed a way home. The thought that this whole fiasco could be over soon brings mixed feelings for me. While I'm going to go home when I get the chance, I can't help but feel a little sad at the idea of leaving Amicus in the palace. We're good friends at this point, and the thought that I might just get dropped off and never see him again. I sigh and listen to the wolf's rhythmic snores, the sound so soft and gentle that, rather than keeping me awake, it starts to lull me back to sleep. And again, I find myself floating as that wide, vacuous conscience that seems to bleed over the boundaries of any sort of individuality. I don't panic this time. I'm used to the feeling, knowing that it's just a dream, that it'll pass. I also sense that other presence above me, even wider than I am. They've been following me around since I got on that ship. Knowing that someone else is there calms me further, and I wait, wondering if they'll talk to me again. They do.
I am still curious.
I try to talk back this time, ask them what they're curious about exactly, but I don't have a mouth to speak with. They seem to hear me, though, and in response I sense gentle amusement mixed with fascination.
Many things, but once again, I'm afraid I have to keep it short.
I wait expectantly.
Do you feel that Amicus would be capable of his duties as Emperor of Adastra?
Yes.
Ah, how interesting.
The presence above me starts to dissipate, and so do I. I'm standing awkwardly in the bathroom while another wolf moves busily around me, making short, clipped comments about my odd shape and tiny stature. He's the first wolf I've seen that isn't part of the Imperial family, so I keep trying not to stare at him while he turns my head left and right, smudging a black substance on my face while he does. Meanwhile, Amicus stands behind us, his face showing a mixture of amusement and concern. I raise an eyebrow at him through the mirror, but he just shrugs in response. Do not move your face, please. I look straight ahead again, letting him smudge the black makeup on my face, still trying not to stare. He's hunched and droopy, wearing some type of monocle with flashing lights. The lens sticks out every now and then with a mechanical droning sound as he examines his work. Also, I'm in a dress. There's no getting around it. I'm in a blue, tight-fitting gown that's covered in intricate gold designs. It's beautiful, no doubt, But I'm not really one for dresses, and I feel my face heating up with embarrassment every time I look into the mirror. So instead I focus on staring at the wall, or Amicus. So why aren't you getting dressed up?
Do not speak, please. Me? Well, I'm already dressed the part of the Emperor.
Amicus fans out his cape with both paws. I start to roll my eyes, but stop myself before the wolf can yell at me again. I realize that he's painting black stripes on my face, and it immediately reminds me of tiger stripes. After that's done, he does the same to the exposed parts of my arms.
Remember not to touch or itch your face. Also, keep your arms away from your body unless you want to ruin the fabric with powder.
The wolf finally steps back, giving a snort of approval before turning and stuffing his equipment into his bag.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And with that, the old wolf hurries out of the bathroom, leaving the two of us alone. I stand there a moment, staring at myself in the mirror, feeling like a circus attraction. I look awful. Amicus coughs and steps up quickly, resting upon my shoulder.
You look very good, actually. Very elegant.
I look up at the wolf and see him smiling at me. I don't know if he's just trying to make me feel better, but then again, I suppose wolves don't really have any idea of what human beauty standards are. I look at the black stripes on my face. Are these tiger stripes? Amicus raises his eyebrows.
Yes, actually. You have tigers on Earth?
Yeah. Is this, okay with them? Not offensive? It looks like a joke.
Offensive? Why would it be offensive? We're honoring Mira with this dance.
If you're sure.
Of course I'm sure. And you don't look like a joke. You look like a strong, beautiful Hindu tigress.
I sigh again, still awkwardly holding my arms away from the dress, feeling stiff. When does this all start?
Well, for me, in about 20 minutes. But for you, another hour or so.
All right. Anything I should expect before it starts?
Not much. The triumvirates will be watching through video link, so only Cato will be there to judge.
Oh.
Keep in mind that it will all be televised live to the rest of Adastra. So...
Amicus sees the look on my face.
Maybe I shouldn't have told you that.
All of Adastra? Live?
Don't worry, no one will actually be there in person, so just pretend, I guess.
Why did you just tell me that?
Well, I had planned on you watching the first half of the trial in the dining room. You'll know how everything is going until it's your turn.
I swallow hard.
I didn't mean to keep that from you. I just thought you might know this would be the case. The entire moon pays very close attention to these trials.
He's right. I guess I sort of did assume that would be the case. But now that it's actually happening, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Maybe I'll get lucky, and it'll happen when Mira dies during the dance.
Listen, you'll be fine. We'll win this, and before you know it, I'll be Emperor, and our problems will be over.
Again, the idea of having my way home all but guaranteed in the next hour. It reminds me of the thoughts I'd had last night. So, when I do get home, is that gonna be the last time I'll see you? The corners of Amicus's mouth twitch down in a frown, but only for a moment before he smiles again.
Well, I suppose that's up to you. With unlimited access to the stretch, I might be able to make visits every now and then. Would you like that?
I don't even have to think about it. Yeah. Amicus's smile widens.
I would as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're my friend, and I'd want to hear about the results of your empire. But then Amicus's smile falters, then turns into a frown. What? The wolf is quiet for a moment, then his ears flatten.
I, forgot the reason you're here in the first place.
For a moment, I don't know what he's talking about. But then I do. We're not even supposed to know each other exists. This whole thing is against the law. Oh. So, I guess we wouldn't be able to do that? Huh? Amicus bites his lip, then shakes his head.
We'll figure it out, but now's not the time for that. We have a trial to win.
Amicus turns to me, and after a little hesitation, pulls me into a quick side hug, carefully avoiding the black powder on my arm. We'll talk more afterwards over a celebratory dinner, alright? The absolute confidence and reassurance in Amicus's voice calms me just a little, and I manage a small smile. Alright. Good. And, little more celebration after that, if you get my meaning. I had almost forgotten about that. Amicus. If you want. Amicus chuckles before his ears perk up, his personal calm talking to him in a quiet, babbling sound. Alright, that's my cue. Head to the dining room if you'd like to watch. Otherwise, Calm will tell you when to leave for the throne room, alright? I nod, and Amicus gives me one last pat on the shoulder before turning away. Good luck. I know you're gonna do great. Amicus waves at me before walking out the door, leaving me alone to wait. I move to the bed and sit down, carefully resting my arms out to the side, wishing they'd applied the makeup a little closer to the dance so I didn't have to walk around like a scarecrow. I realize pretty quickly that sitting here in silence is only making me more nervous, so I slowly get up, making my way to the main hall. As usual, the halls are empty. The only people living here are the Imperial siblings, Cato, and Neferu. The old makeup wolf is the only other person that I've seen over the past 2.5 weeks that I've been here. It makes me think that I still want to see the city before I leave. If I leave. I block that thought from my brain, trying not to think of what might happen if these trials go poorly for us. Instead, I try to let the bright sunshine and fresh morning air calm my nerves. Eventually, I make my way to the dining room, and when I look in, I see Alex sitting on one of the beds. His ears perk up as he sees me, eyes widening in surprise.
Hello, Marco. How are you?
He stares at my face, then down at my costume. I feel myself turning red, and I desperately wish that I had stayed in Amicus's room. I'm able to swallow the embarrassment down for now, though. I know Alex pretty well, after all. Where's your costume? At this point, I feel like I'm the only person being made to play dress-up. I sit down on the middle bed, not wanting to be directly across from the cat where he'd have to stare at me.
Should I be in one?
I shrug. I don't know. They put me in one, obviously.
Obviously. And the powder, too.
I glare at Alex.
I mean, you look good. Very bold.
So why the hell aren't you dressed up as Mira? We're doing the same dance, right?
Well, yes. Though Cassius instructed that I be in my underwear. Actually, I think I'd prefer your situation.
Sure.
Seriously? You think I want all of Adastra to see my naked torso?
Alex hugs himself, shuddering.
Ugh, it's so embarrassing.
I sigh and sit back on the bed, only now noticing that Cassius is on the screen, playing some sort of brass instrument that looks to be vaguely in the shape of a French horn. It sounds nothing like one, though. The volume is low, but I can hear the raspy, sputtering sound it's making. Not pleasant to my ear, but then the idea of what music and dance is seems to be very different from Earth. Well, I'd prefer being half naked. And if this is my introduction to the moon, why am I all covered up like this? I'm pretty sure they'd rather get a better look at what I actually look like. But as I'm saying that, I wonder if maybe that's why Amicus had me so covered up.
The dress looks very good, actually. It's the makeup that surprises me. I suppose it's very wolven to do something like that.
I look at Alex, frowning. Wolven? Is this offensive?
Maybe just a smidge, but not to the wolves, so you have nothing to worry about. The Hindos don't talk to Adastra anymore.
Oh my god! I want to bury my face in my hands, but I can't with all the makeup on. On top of that, it's all starting to itch. This is so stupid! Alex chuckles.
It really is. The wolves are so obsessed with spectacle and drama, which is why the trials are used instead of elections, or even just sound judgment from a council.
Alex gestures up at one of the screens.
It's an Adastran holiday right now, so everyone can watch this.
Cassius has finished his little song, standing up and bowing. Along the right edge of the screen, 5 little boxes pop up, each one containing the faces of 3 wolves sitting solemnly side by side.
Though, in a way, the people are having a role in choosing their emperor here, with their elected triumvirates making the decision. But then I don't understand why song and dance should apply.
So why would Cassius and Amicus campaign if they're just going to be chosen through these trials?
Well, if the decision isn't clear, then why not choose the wolf that has the most popularity with your people? It increases the chance of re-election.
Amicus suddenly appears on screen, sitting down, a spotlight on him as he begins to blow onto the same instrument. Again, that raspy, blatting sound that would make me cringe if it were a human instrument at a human concert. I have no idea if he's better than Cassius or not.
And general popularity is good to have anyway. A happy people is usually a more peaceful and easy to control society.
So, Amicus is at a disadvantage then?
Unless he clearly outperforms Cassius.
I sigh, watching as the wolf's cheeks puff up each time he blows into his little horn. His eye is almost crossed with effort. I guess you elect your officials?
Yes.
So does most of... I find myself almost saying the name of my planet again. It's harder and harder to keep this secret from Alex, especially as our relationship has become more casual. Our tribes. At least I think that's what they are on the Simian planet. I just have to hope that Alex doesn't actually look it up. But he continues on like he didn't notice my pause, like he always does.
Anyway, despite the competition, I still consider you a friend, and I hope you feel the same. Maybe we can have lunch in the garden soon, no matter the result.
Yeah, let's do that.
Wonderful.
We sit in silence for another 10 or so minutes, watching as Amicus finishes his horn playing. Then Cassius takes the spotlight again, to begin singing. It's actually just howling. Cass's head leaned back, muzzle tipped toward the ceiling, looking just like a wolf on Earth as it howls to the moon. I think he's saying words, but I can't really understand, especially with the odd high-pitched tone it has. Meanwhile, a little gauge pops up in the bottom screen, a needle going back and forth with the pitch of the howl.
They want the indicator to stay in the middle. It represents better control over their song.
It's short, only a few minutes before it's Amicus's turn, doing much the same as Cassius, except his howl is deeper, fuller. A lot better, I think. I also like to think that the needle stays in the middle more often than it had for Cassius, but I'm not sure. Toward the end of Amicus's song, Com's voice crackles gently over our heads.
Alex, Marco, the dance begins in 5 minutes. Please proceed to the throne room doors.
My heart skips a beat as we both stand up, Alex leading the way to the hall. I wonder if he's nervous too. Even though he looks calm, his tail lashes back and forth as we walk. I don't try to talk to him, feeling like we're both a little preoccupied with our own thoughts right now. We get to the big double doors and wait side by side. Alex's paws are folded neatly in front of himself, so I do the same. I try to breathe evenly. I've never been good in front of big crowds, and even though it's technically only Kato in there, I can't forget the fact that millions of people are going to be watching.
Dance trial begins in 5, 4, 3, 2.
The doors slide open, and I find myself staring into a darkened throne room, the windows deeply tinted so that only a vague hint of sunlight comes through. I immediately see Amicus straight ahead of me, bathed in a bright spotlight. The same can be said for Cassius, about 10 meters to his right. Cato sits on the throne, just like in my dream. I also notice Virginia and Neferu sitting next to each other on one of the benches. That alone makes me even more nervous. But then a voice comes over the PA. Not calm, but someone else, sounding old and frail.
Presenting Pet Alexios from Moon Amorpha and Pet Marco from Planet Semia.
Amicus and Cassius reach out one paw, and Alex starts to walk forward on his toes, looking light and sophisticated. I quickly follow suit, trying to sort of mimic his walk. I had never practiced my entrance with Amicus. I start to wonder if I'm even more underprepared than I thought I was. No time to think about that now. I do the best I can with my stupid prancing walk before coming to a stop in front of Amicus, reaching out a hand to rest in his big paw. He smiles reassuringly down at me, and for some reason, his presence makes me a little less nervous than I had been while waiting alone for the trial to start. We stand there quietly for a moment, but then that old voice starts up again. But now it's in a howl, high, wavering, and faint.
Experiment
He starts to recite the story in the same how, but it's hard to hear, and now that there are words... Wait, I can't understand it. He's speaking. Oh, fuck. The lingua isn't translating the song. Immediately I start to panic as I see Amicus raise up his paw. I probably have a look of horror on my face, because his reassuring smile has turned to a frown. Jerkily, I raise up my hand up to touch it to the wolf's paw, trying to stay calm. I can do this. Sure, I touched a lot of the movements to the words in the song, but I remember the order of the poses. I think. Still, the unexpected blunder has me flustered and stumbling. My movements hesitant and definitely unelegant. I'm so frazzled that I don't really have time to dwell on the fact that Alex and Cassius are doing the dance at the same time. Are we competing for Cato's and watching triumvirate's attention? I try to stay focused on Amicus, watching his movements, hoping that I might remember enough of his cues to get through all the movements correctly. My falling apart must be affecting Amicus as well, his brow furrowed in confusion, his movements also becoming slower, more hesitant. Fuck! I think I feel sweat running down my face, probably turning my striped makeup into a streaked mess. Several times, I'm caught staring at Amicus, unsure of what to do until I look over at Alex to see what he's doing. The cat looks totally in his element, stretching and elongating his body luxuriously in tandem with Cassius. The wolf isn't bad himself, taking the clear lead in the dance as he dips and sways with Alex's body. Meanwhile, I fumble around with Amicus, watching as the powder on my sweaty arms smears on his fur, leaving long black smudges on his chest and arms. Finally, we get to Mira's death, and at least I know when this is supposed to happen because I see Amicus reach out dramatically for me. This is the only moment in the entire dance that I feel confident in what I'm doing, and I put everything into my swoon. But so does Alex. Amicus is already next to me to catch me before I can start to fall. But Alex swoons while Cassius is still meters away from him, but the other wolf smoothly glides to his side to catch him. Alex lays there in Cassius's arms, splayed out dramatically, looking somehow serene and distressed at the same time. The spotlight almost makes the pair glitter, and even I feel like there's a good deal of chemistry between the two of them. There had been a small but definite hope on my end that Alex might help us out here, maybe throw the dance in our favor with a fall or stumble, but it looks like he's putting everything into the performance. Cassius, despite his reputation of being weak, looks strong and confident, easily supporting Alex's weight as the cat dips further toward the ground. At the same time, the wolf's howl reaches a new pitch, the climax of the story. And that's when Alex turns his head to Cassius for a deep, passionate kiss. Even though Mira's supposed to be gone at this point, Alex reaches up to caress Cassius's face, pulling him in deeper. Meanwhile, their bodies press closely together, Cassius very clearly grinding his hips against the cat's, the paw that's not supporting Alex's head instead running up his thigh, before dipping under Alex's underwear, pushing it up until most of the cat's thigh is showing. And they just writhe against each other like that, as if caught in the throes of passion, the movements of their muzzles telling me that a lot is going on past those lips. The entire act stuns me, almost making me forget about the disaster that our own dance had been. Cassius turns, carrying Alex with him as he faces them in the other direction, never breaking the kiss. In fact, their groping and grinding getting even more intense. He's giving everyone a good view of what's happening. If the whole idea of the dance is to capture attention and make the story and feelings believable, well, I believe them. In fact, I believe there's a lot more going on between the two than I'd originally thought. That might explain why Alex wouldn't want to hurt Cassius's chances of being Emperor. Maybe my hopes that Alex would help us were completely naive. And that's when I'm suddenly snapped back to reality as I hear Amicus grunt above me. I'd been so enamored with Cassius and Alex's kiss that I'd forgotten our own. Seeing a preview of what I might have to do with Amicus, though, I blush, steeling myself, getting ready as the wolf starts to lean down toward me, his lips puckered up slightly. I ready my own lips, but then suddenly Amicus turns his head to the side slightly, landing the kiss on my cheek instead. It's soft and fleeting, and before I know it, Amicus is pulled back before gently lowering me to the cold marble below. I recognize the word Adastra in the howl before everything goes quiet. I hear Alex getting up just a few feet away, so I do the same, Amicus quickly hurrying over to help me up in my dress. It's only then that I see the various drones floating around above us, the attached lenses making me realize that they're cameras. I quickly duck my head, not wanting the people to see the smeared, offensive makeup on my face. Amicus holds me close to his side, not saying anything, thankfully. Cassius continues to look straight ahead, and I can see Alex glancing at us, looking confused. Then comes voice.
The triumvirates have made their decisions. Lupus, Cassius. Adrotai, Cassius. Lux, Cassius. Jabi, Cassius. Thrisali, Cassius. Adastra?
The camera drones swivel to focus on Cato. He shifts on his throne before grunting out his answer.
Cassius.
The trial has been decided. Cassius is the victor.
There's a moment of stunned silence. Then the windows untint, and the camera drones lazily drift away up into some ceiling compartment. I'm left standing there, looking around at the others. Cato is walking down the steps from the throne, in the direction of Cassius. Meanwhile, Virginia is whispering to Neferu behind a fan she's casually waving into her face. Cassius is petting Alex's head, murmuring to him under his breath. Finally, Amicus stands awkwardly to my side, not even looking at me, his paws behind his back and his eyes on Cato. I suddenly realize again how stupid I look. "Can I go change?" I mumble to Amicus, keeping my voice low like everyone else, as if we're in a library or something.
Sure. Do you want...
I don't let him finish. I'm walking as fast as I can to the double doors, knowing that everyone's eyes are on my back as I pause to touch the black panel. Once I'm in the main hall, I'm able to breathe a little easier, starting to feel the anger coming up through the absolute humiliation. I don't know exactly what I'm angry at. Not Amicus, even though he maybe should have had an idea that howls don't translate. Not Cato or the triumvirates. They'd made the right decision. I'd been a complete disaster out there. I guess I'm just mad at this whole system, that the responsibility of getting home rests on me just as much as the guy that got me here in the first place. It isn't fair. So I guess I am pissed at Amicus in a way, but the anger is a lot broader than that. I'm angry at the entire situation. I go straight to the bathroom, roughly trying to yank off the stupid dress. It's tight around my neck, and I spend the next minute doing an awkward dance, trying to find the buttons on the back so I can loosen it. Eventually, I just rip it off before wiggling out of the dress, feeling a little guilty only after I see the beautiful fabric crumpled up on the ground. I stand there, breathing heavily, sweaty and hot. I look in the mirror, and I'm a little surprised to see the makeup still mostly intact on my face. Which reminds me, I'm also pissed that the first time I get paraded out to the public, it's in a racist costume and makeup. I get in the shower, letting the hot water run over my face, feeling a little better now that I'm alone with my thoughts, and out of the tight dress. Still, my mood is a bit dark. I guess now I can actually start to consider that I might be living here forever. While my mind initially rejects the idea, I guess it's not the worst fate. I'll at least be living in a palace with Amicus, and I know he'd take care of me. At least, I think he would. Maybe this whole pet thing is temporary, and if he loses the trials, he'll just throw me out with the trash, maybe kill me like he'd once mentioned on the ship. Under my gloomy contemplations, though, I know that that's not the case. He wouldn't do that. But I can't promise myself that I'd be able to keep friendly with him if things really do go south. He told me this would be easy so many times. Even if the lingua hadn't messed up, I doubt we still would have won. After a good half hour, I finally get out of the shower. I stand in front of the fence for a bit, enjoying the way it whips my hair around before I pick up some underwear off the hook and tie it on. I'm pretty fast at doing that now, not even having to think about it. Finally, I open the door. The cool air that rushes in is refreshing after such a hot shower, but I'm immediately treated to the sight of Amicus walking away from the door, probably in the middle of pacing. He immediately turns around at the sound, though, his eyes wide.
Hey, Marco, how are you?
Great. I walk over to the dresser, opening the one that's full of children's robes.
Really?
Sure. I hear Amicus huff behind me.
Please, I don't want to deal with that mood of yours right now. I just want to talk.
That's fair. But him telling me to stop sulking is just making me sulkier. You know, I would have loved to just talk like a week ago about this stupid trial. Imagine how much better it would have gone if I'd actually memorized the dance rather than just following cues from you in the song. I whip out a robe. Which, by the way, isn't a song. You always make fun of Earthlings and our primitive ways, but at least we actually have a variety of music. Oh, and we can actually sing, not those creepy, howling sounds that sound like you're dying. Amicus frowns at me, his ears flat.
You're upset.
No, what made you think that?
Stop it, Marco. I'm just as upset and disappointed as you probably are. Was it the cameras? Maybe Cato that made you nervous? What happened?
I'm quiet for a moment as I start tying on my robe. Then suddenly Amicus's paw reaches out, grabbing my right hand and yanking it away from my clothing. What?
What happened to your paw?
I look up and see the wolf staring at the palm side of my hand with wide eyes before turning it this way and that. What?
Your skin. It's bunching up. Are you having a reaction to the powder?
I stare at him, confused, before pulling my hand away to look at my pruny fingers. No, I was just in the shower too long. My skin does that when I'm wet for a long time.
I've never noticed that before.
You take short showers. The wolf frowns at me, then snatches my hand up again to stare at the fingers in fascination, even as I try to yank it back. At that point, I feel my mood about to take a turn in one of two directions, either exploding at Amicus in frustration and anger over everything, or just laughing. And I find myself doing the latter, chuckling at first before letting out a loud guffaw. Amicus gives me a strange look, finally letting me go.
Are you sure you're all right? You're worrying me.
I sigh as I finish tying on my robe before flopping back onto the bed, hands above my head as I let the pleasant, cool air drift down from the ceiling to blanket my body. I know I'm going to get cold in a few minutes, but for now, it feels good. Remember how you said the lingua has trouble translating some things?
Yes,
I hear the wolf pause as he figures out what went wrong. Heard nothing but wailing Latin in that howling noise. I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh, gods!
There's a heavy thump, and I feel the mattress crater and tilt sideways a bit as Amicus sits down next to me. So, yeah.
Marco, I am so sorry. I didn't even contemplate that possibility.
It's fine. I don't think either of us could have.
I mean, I've listened to music from the Cats before, and I've never had an issue with lyrics translating.
I shrug. I don't know. Doesn't the lingua try to understand intention too? Maybe I meant to hear the true language when you guys sing. It was happening while you were doing your song, even though I didn't realize it then.
Oh. You heard me sing?
I can hear the embarrassment in Amicus's voice. Yeah, it sounded fine, honestly. I was just being a dick earlier.
I know.
But still, I'm tired of you trashing on human culture.
I know.
And I knew that makeup was offensive, by the way. I look like an idiot for all Adastra to see.
You look good.
I turn my head toward the wolf. Oh, really? Fumbling around like an idiot with no clue of what he's doing looks good. Amicus stays quiet this time. I stare back up at the ceiling. I guess at least I'm keeping up the dumb, primitive ape act, right? Amicus just sighs, getting up. I watch as he slowly walks over to the sofa to sit down.
I have to say that although you are a very kind, intelligent person, you're very frustrating when you get into these moods.
Frustrating?
Just so gloomy and self-defeating. You remind me of Cassius sometimes.
I pull a face. Since when is he self-defeating? He seems pretty full of himself to me.
You don't know the real Cass. He very much dislikes himself.
Also, don't compare me to your brother. I really don't want to be thinking about him right now.
I'm just saying, I prefer you in lighter spirits. It suits you more.
I'll work on it. A long silence goes by, and with the way that Amicus is shifting around, I can tell that he wants to ask me something. What is it?
Well, I guess that little celebration is out of the question now.
The dinner?
Um,
I sit up suddenly, giving him an incredulous look. Seriously?
Whoa, I was just
We
kidding.
just lost the trial! You're one trial away from losing the emperorship, and you're seriously thinking about that?
I was just having a bit of fun.
No, you want a pity handy.
It's not like I need you to do it. I can get the job done myself.
Then do it!
I will!
Amicus sits there huffily, not making eye contact. I sigh, remembering what the wolf had said about improving my mood. I often criticize Amicus for his tantrums, reminding him that it won't help us to sulk. It's kind of hypocritical that I don't hold myself to the same standards. Sorry, I've just got a lot on my mind, obviously.
Listen, I know this went much differently than what we had planned, but I will certainly win the next trial. I've debated Cassius many times before.
Do I have to do anything?
Other than watch? No.
When is it?
2 weeks from now.
You better win.
I will.
I sigh again, realizing that the knot I've had in my stomach the past few weeks is a bit longer to stick around. And I might still... I make a jacking motion in the air. Later on, I'm just not in the right state of mind right now.
I understand. It was too early to make light of things. Though, maybe we could do something else that would make us both feel better?
Something else?
Yes, like, I could just... hold you?
Amicus's voice gets uncharacteristically high on the last word. Hold me. I repeat his words. Why would you want to do that?
Well, companionship is part of pet duties, and holding or embracing is often how it is expressed. It might also be comforting to you, considering how stressful the past few hours have been.
Again, that hopeful look. And again, I actually feel bad for him. How lonely do you have to be to just want to cuddle someone? But at the same time, I want to. I might not want to admit it, but I've also been lonely these past 3 weeks, emotionally and physically. Also, I've really liked our short hugs, so a longer one. Trying not to look too eager myself, I sigh and stand up. Amicus's ears immediately perk up in a happy surprise. He leans back, legs together, waiting as I walk up to him.
Do you...
I sit down in his lap, a little awkwardly at first as I wobble around, then finally settle on turning sideways, knees drawn up as I lean my shoulder against his chest. Amicus pauses, then wraps his arms around me. Despite the awkward start, I'm amazed at the way I just sort of fit against the curve of his body. His big, furry arms envelope me, and I feel the muscles tighten briefly before relaxing. His soft stomach cushions against my side, making it feel as if I'm leaning against a big, furry, but firm waterbed. His chest is broad and thick, propping my head up comfortably as he scoots his butt out a bit to help us better recline. Then he tucks my head under his chin, and just like that, I'm surrounded by his warmth, the cold that had started to bite at my bare skin dissipating immediately. I feel a little thrill in my chest at the feeling of having this wolf, so large and powerful, hug and cuddle me so gently. Something about this is so... nice. Amicus just holds me in silence for a while, and I feel his paws shift around a bit, like he's kneading through the robe to the skin on my back. Finally, his deep voice rumbles through his chest and against my ear.
Is this all right?
Yeah, this is... fine. I blush, embarrassed at how much I'm enjoying this. Originally, I just wanted to make him feel better, but he was right about this making me feel better. Amicus rubs his chin down against the top of my head, and I hear him inhale.
I suppose this isn't a normal thing to do on Earth?
Well, it is if you're dating someone. It's not a usual thing with friends, though.
Ah.
Amicus paws at me a bit more, making those tiny movements as if he's trying to feel me as much as possible without being obvious about it.
What is dating on your planet?
I shrug, though it's hard to do against the wolf's tight embrace. Just asking someone you like out on a date. Basically, it just means that you like that person and you want to know more about them, and dating helps you do that.
Ah, this sounds fairly casual. So, how does one initiate dating?
I don't know, just ask them. Give them flowers if you're old-fashioned, but it is pretty casual, honestly. Why are you so curious? It's Amicus's turn to shrug.
I always want to be careful about your boundaries. It's easier when I understand your culture better.
I lean against the wolf, realizing that even though I'd made a complete fool out of myself just half an hour earlier, I feel fine. I kind of hope that this isn't the last time we do something like this. Knowing Amicus, it likely won't be.